You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. Narcissistic and delusional. Well, it certainly sounds like somebody has got the measure of this one's wife, but who is it? Well, according to Daniela Elsa in news.com.au, this one's wife and Harry move slammed as narcissistic, delusional. Prince William and Kate Middleton are reported to be holding on firm on a this one's wife and Harry move that would leave them in total humiliation. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen. Get out of the gin, get out the port. Hell, get out that forgotten half-full bottle of duty-free Bacardi stashed in Louis XIV sideboard. Christmas is officially a month away, and on the menu for the royal family this year, alongside a roast turkey the size of a VW Beetle and crackers stuffed with apple shares, is a fresh serving of drama. The House of Windsor. They're just like us, dysfunction for all. This year, when King Charles and Queen Camilla and the extended royal tribe gather at Sandringham for their annual festive knees up, it will seemingly be with Prince William and Kate, the Prince and Princess of Wales, heaving huge sighs of relief and clutching at their G&Ts. This week came the diabolically wild news that after all the tears, the interviews, the claims of unconscious bias and family callousness, and the non-sharing of lip gloss, Prince Harry and this one's wife, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, have seemingly decided they fancy an invitation to a royal Christmas. Now, pausing there, you might think to yourself, how on earth could this odious woman expect to be invited to Sandringham as a consequence of not only the way that she has behaved towards the royal family, but also knowing what was going to come out of Omid Scobie's Bell End game, because of course she put it there in the first place. But this is where the brilliance, if I can call it thus, of the narcissist compartmentalization comes to the fore. This one's wife could punch you in the face at 9 a.m. and then at 9:15 a.m. tell you how much she loves you, and you would be expected to believe and accept that. Similarly, therefore, she can throw pelters, smearing the royal family, and then expect to be invited. She lacks the object constancy to recognise that such behaviour ought to be merited with a "get lost. We're not inviting you, you're just trouble." But here's the rub. She honestly can't understand why she would not be invited. Yes, she is that deluded. You would recognise that if at last Christmas event you wandered in, dropped your trousers, pissed on the fire, kicked the Christmas pudding to death, and smashed a few of the kids' presents, that you would then not be invited the following year because your pissed-up antics really didn't go down well. Unless you were somehow able to demonstrate throughout the course of the year and issue several mea culpas, mea maxima culpas, so that you demonstrated that you weren't going to misbehave, the chances of you being invited to the Christmas knees up would be pretty slim indeed. And you'd understand why. I got pissed and behaved like a bell end last time. Yes, I was a weapon-grade helmet, and therefore I don't expect to be invited this year. Perhaps I might be able to sit this one out and turn up next year instead, having undertaken a period of rehabilitation. But this isn't applicable to this one's wife. She's access all areas. And the fact is, any problems about her behaviour that you may have are either an invention of yours, or, well, she's justified to behave that way because you were nasty to her first. And therefore, how can it be that you wouldn't invite her? She's mesmerising, fascinating and exciting. And after all, she's so important you should be inviting her. She doesn't see that there's any reason not to do so. She doesn't see that there's any reason to keep her away. She believes, because of her sense of entitlement, that she should be invited. The article continues by explaining, I can't imagine the Sussexes would decline an invitation to spend time with His Majesty, a friend of the Californian court told the Times royal editor Roy Nickar. As of yet, there have not been any invitations for the holidays. What a surprise. Naturally, thinking Charles would decline to do so because he recognises the problem that this one's wife and Harry pose. Furthermore, he will have had in his ear comment from other royals, Princess Anne, the Princess and Princess of Wales, possibly also the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, saying it wouldn't be jolly japes if those two came along. He'd whinge and she would cause trouble. What we would talk about would end up in a shitflick series or some new shitty podcast that she's devised. Don't invite them. It'll make Christmas shit for all of us. Experienced anglers know what this actually is. It's a line being thrown out, a spot of angling to see if Charles might bite and suddenly throw open the Sandringham doors to the Sussexes. Harry and this one's wife putting out feelers about a December Norfolk invitation, something they have eschewed now for years on end. That's a sentence I never thought I would have to type out, writes Elsa. The very prospect is enough to have one reaching for the cooking sherry for a quick mid-morning swig. You have to hand it to Harry and this one's wife. They are optimists. Or, as a friend of Prince William's has put it, narcissistic and delusional. Optimistic isn't the right description. It is narcissistic and delusional. She's a narcissist, she compartmentalizes, and is deluded enough to believe that she should be invited come what may. Let's hope that Harry has not been eagerly waiting by their Monty Shit Show postbox, because the news is not good. Charles has nipped this Sussex Christmas entreaty in the bud, with His Majesty reportedly unwilling to spend the holiday season discussing his sacral chakra or the rigours of getting a decent table at Nobu. The reason? The royal family aren't entirely sure, reportedly, that if the Sussexes were to be there, that whatever they say or do won't find its way into print or end up being relayed wide-eyed to a nodding Oprah down the track. Even if the king had been possibly tempted to let bygones be bygones and to submit to this one's wife's healing sage ceremony in the most flame-retardant Sandringham drawing room, his other son and future £5 note portrait William would have been dead set against it. The Daily Beast's Tom Sykes has reported that the prince would have been implacably opposed to joining any party for Christmas lunch, which included Harry and this one's wife. One friend of William's told Sykes, "The whole idea of them coming for Christmas was typically narcissistic and delusional. There's no way William or Kate would want them there after what he wrote in his book. Would you want to sit down for a slap-up lunch with someone who basically called you an asshole in public? It would be a total humiliation. William and Kate are never, ever going to sign up for that, and Charles wouldn't ask them to." The Wales' reported refusal to come face-to-face with the Sussexes over priceless silver serving dishes of sprouts is entirely understandable. As we approach the one-year mark since the Sussex blitzkrieg of oversharing commenced in December 2022, the Prince and Princess have managed to make it through, though not without a few reputational dings. The person who indisputably bore the brunt of the Sussexes' opprobrium was William, a bloke who was painted as jealous, self-interested, and a bit of a thug. Nor did Kate escape unscathed, with the princess cast as having encouraged Harry to dress up as a Nazi and being squeamish about sharing her lip gloss with sister-in-law, this one's wife. The Prince and Princess of Wales might be many things, but masochists willing to endure the total humiliation of having to make nice with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex? Nepa. I think we will sooner see Anne furiously pedalling around Burning Man on a bicycle than this. Hours after the news broke that the Duke and Duchess had failed to make the cut for Sandringham, there they were at an ice hockey game in Canada, drumming up support ahead of the 2025 Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler. The couple might not seem to have a care in the world as they clapped and cheered, but Charles has essentially just given his son the cut direct. Adding insult to injury here is that whilst the Sussexes have been nixed, Camilla's children and grandchildren are set to spend their very first Christmas right in the bosom of the royal family. Son Tom Parker Bowles and daughter Laura Lopez and their 5 children are about to, according to ITV's Chris Shipp, experience their first December the 25th at Sandringham, alongside William and Kate and their small troop of tiny HRHs. This, of course, will infuriate this one's wife, because again she will not understand why she has not been invited and think to herself, if Tom Parker Bowles has been invited and their kids, why haven't we? And no matter how many times you'll explain to her, it's because you are a complete shit, and so is your husband, and nobody trusts you, her narcissism will not allow that to compute, and will repeatedly cause her to try and reject that suggestion and maintain that she should be invited. The moral of the story here, Camilla has won. Her Majesty might have, according to Harry, left bodies in the street in her journey towards the throne, but on Christmas Day this year, it will be the King and Queen's blended families pulling crackers and gorging on figgy pudding. Whereas, who will be with Harry and this one's wife? No family on the royal side, not her father, not her brother, not her sister, possibly Doria, the three of them and the Invisi kids in California, miles from the warm bosom of a royal Christmas. Bah humbug. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.